Fleming did this to frighten Lehman into leaving early, since he was expecting the arrival of another lover. Lehman's less well-known account sheds a more satisfying light on the story. Lehman came across the squid on the kitchen floor. Fleming had speared it, intending to have it for dinner. "As I looked at it," she recalled, "I suddenly caught its eye. It seemed to stare at me, and I felt for some reason that this was a creature every bit as intelligent as we were, and that it was suffering terribly. So I persuaded Ian to throw it back in the sea. He grumbled a bit and said, 'How typical of a soft old pseudo-liberal like you. You may think nature is beautiful, but it is very cruel, very ruthless. Just you see. As soon as we throw the squid back in the sea, all the other creatures will go for it. Just you see.' So we did throw it in, and it was quite extraordinary, for suddenly this odd, grey, inanimate creature began to light up in the water until it was quite phosphorescent. Then it swam away as we watched, and Ian was completely speechless. It was an incident that I always meant to write a story about, but never have." As with the squid, so with its fisherman. The unsympathetic image I had formed from sideways glimpses of a prickly, self-centered bounder camouflaged another, more luminous person. This Ian Fleming, so far from having an unimportant desk job in the Second World War, had played a singular part in the war that he could never talk about, tantalizing bits of which emerged in the novels that he started writing after this adventure was essentially over, but who also lived life to the full and had a wonderful laugh, and, in the words of another friend, brought colour and occasional fury into the lives of countless others. He broke the taboos of our time, but not of his own, carrying on as if it were wartime, which, perhaps for Fleming, his life always was. For all his undeniable shortcomings, he was an unfailingly intriguing character, who, as Leiter herself had been swift to recognize, was more than capable of being sympathetic, funny, vital, humane, of glowing. If he was not an unblemished paragon, like his father, a war hero, neither was he the unpleasant, frivolous second son I had imagined. As in the story of the squid, and the reassessment it begs, the new material, unpublished letters and diaries, declassified files, previously uninterviewed witnesses, sets off Fleming and his life in a new light that leads to new conclusions about the man. You felt his presence on the page, and, what is not so common for a writer, also in the room. "I can see him walking through the door at Buscott into the tiny sitting room," says his wife's niece, Sarah Morrison. "He stops and puts his elbow on the upright piano on the right and tells us children to go to bed. He had an absolutely hypnotically attractive voice to a child, haunting and never raised, and everyone seemed to shut up when he spoke. I was rather intrigued by grown-ups' reaction to him. We all knew that something big had come into the room, and everyone jumped too. He was rather good-looking, to say the least of it," says Fleming's stepson Raymond. "In my mother's album there's a photo of him, and underneath she's written, 'Beautiful Ian.' His American friend, Ernie Cuneo, has given us a pen portrait of Fleming's sad, bony, fateful features. A high forehead, with a head of thick brown curlyish hair, parted on the side and neatly combed over to the left. His eyes were piercing blue, and he had a good firm jaw. The American journalist Dorothy Thompson sighed after meeting the young Ian Fleming in Kitzbühel. The moulding of those cheekbones. His nose had been broken and repaired with a metal plate, giving him the look of a light heavyweight boxer. To Lady Mary Pakenham, the journalist's daughter of the Earl of Longford, "Ian was the best-looking man I have ever seen with a broken nose and a damned soul, fallen angel expression. He was taller than Peter, about 5'11", I imagine, slightly round-shouldered, but with marvellous legs. They were the smooth, muscled legs of a runner, with rather large calves," observed Cuneo, a former football star. Then the voice. His stepdaughter, Fionn, remembers it as curiously light for a man. "Because of the image of James Bond, you think you're going to get a deep baritone. But it's a lyric tenor," she says. His voice surprised people, as did his physicality. "Ian moved as quickly as a lizard," said Mary Pakenham. "If he got up to fetch a book, he would dart across the room in a flash. For older or slower people..."